Good afternoon, I guess it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is Launching with Lisa, the video series that has me launching. We're coming at you with thoughts of the day. I look a little haggard because I am. I've had a high pain day today. I had to go lie down again. That's why I have a little crease. You can always tell. I might as well confess up front. Plus my bed head, although I did brush my hair. Not sure what's going on. I just thought I'd drop by. I listened to some really fascinating things last night. Today, I took a few notes here. Today, I haven't even finished the interview, but it's on Richie Allen, and he's speaking with a gentleman by the name of Paul Craig Roberts. I've heard him interviewed before, and so far I like what he has to say. It's a little bit about that, sheer insanity involving the people freaking out. I'm putting my Glooby up there for a minute so that I can reach things better. God, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I need to get a grip. What am I going to do about this? My goodness, from where did this appear? Okay, at any rate, I just feel I can concentrate now without my hair looking like, I don't know, sheer madness. Okay, it's about the NFL thing, and he brought out some very interesting points, similar to what I said before, but not really. I mean, he really gives a lot of detail here. Now, what he's saying is, basically, these people that are freaking out, clutching pearls over the players taking a knee during the anthem, they're more or less sort of playing into this plan, this plot of, whipping up sentiments of angry patriotism is the best way I can put it. I don't know exactly the words he used. Hyper patriotism is what he said. And he refers to it as the military security complex, the Israel lobby, and the neocons. And what he thinks will happen, first of all, a lot of these stadiums are subsidized by us, by the taxpayers. And so in a way, with the public funding being involved, with them taking a knee and people wanting to stop them from doing it, it's almost an infringement upon their First Amendment rights of free speech. I know a lot of people go, unless the government is trying to stomp that, then it's really not an invasion. But if you think about the funding for the stadiums, and that makes sense, it's like a public entity, of course, because those billionaires that are involved with football need all the public help they can get, ladies and gentlemen. They need the welfare that we give them out of our tax dollars, or various cities in which these stadiums are built. But the Jones family down the road that might need a little bit of help with food stamps until they get on their feet. Oh my God, no, we can't have that. Welfare, socialism. So, anyhow, yeah, that's what he pointed out. So, he said really the players are following the Constitution in that particular case of the public, funding and stuff, and then those against them aren't. And he said people are really freaking out, burning jerseys, burning up their tickets and things, and just getting into a frenzy. And he feels that what will eventually happen is that the media will start pushing things in a way to redirect the anger toward Iran, and Russia, and these other places like Venezuela, places like that. Somehow they'll be able to use that and turn the anger that was directed about the football situation to this other thing of American patriotism, exceptionalism, whatnot, concerning invading other countries and stuff like that. Really interesting concept. Evidently wrote a piece about it on his own website, which I believe is paulcraigroberts.org. I think that's what Richie Allen said. And mind you, I'm only partway through the interview, but I just thought this was so interesting, the way he put it. And they started to talk about, he said that Donald Trump's role now is basically to go along with the military security complex agenda. And I think that's becoming kind of crystal clear as we go on into his term. And also he mentioned clearing out countries for Israel's expansion, which is something I've mentioned before, and asked my viewers to please look up the Greater Israel Project, if you would. And that's not to say, I have to clear something up, I think, because I'm seeing a lot of everything is the fault of the Jews and all this stuff, and I've been over this before. I think there's a certain element there that how can I put this? Although a lot of that stuff is true. I don't like to say the Jews, though, because we're talking about, Zionism or like a political ideology compared to a religion. But this whole thing of blaming everything on that element, I think, possibly, now I haven't concluded yet, but it's a possibility, that could also be a way of controlled opposition to keep the focus off some other shenanigans unfolding. I don't know. Something I'm just thinking about, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know how I like to share my progress with you. Let's see. And he was just mentioning the super patriots, so to speak, are cutting off their nose to spite their face. That's with the burning of the tickets and, all that jazz. And then they started to move into this identity politics region, which, basically is you derive your point of view from a particular group with which you're associated, like, I don't know, African American group, or the LGBTQ group or whatever. But I see that totally on what many would call the other side as well. I mean, I hear all about this liberal political or identity politics and things like that everybody sort of rolls eyes over, but I see it unfolding in both arenas. And actually, the whole super patriotism and freaking out over the kneeling and stuff, to me, that is an example of the other side's identity politics. In their case, they're like totally identified with being an American, totally identified with being a patriotic person, totally identified with respecting the military and the flag and all. I have a question let's just get down to the bare bones here. Why do we have, like, weapons of war flying across during NFL games? I think it might just be the Super Bowl, but isn't there some kind of weird time? I mean, it seems strange to me that we would meld the two together, the sports and the military. And somebody on the Microvera chat mentioned that there's a reason for sports that kind of gets people wound up like that. I don't know. It's something to think about, something to look into probably. And then he made a really good point, ladies and gentlemen. And this is available, of course, on YouTube under Richie Allen. And it's an interview, I think, from just yesterday maybe, or even today. Paul Craig Roberts. Like I said, I'm only halfway through. So if he says anything totally outrageous beyond halfway, don't blame me. I don't know yet. This Paul Craig Roberts pointed out the United States has never permitted, now listen carefully, they've never permitted a democratic type government to take hold in the Central or Southern American regions. If you think about it, what happens is people have had enough of these corporations ruling their lives down there. Major General Smedley Butler wrote about this in his mid-1930s book called War's a Racket. Also, a gentleman rather recently, the name of the book is, I think it's called Tales of an Economic Hitman. Don't remember his name, but you can check into it, something similar. At any rate, the corporations and everything, of course, have taken over these other countries. And whenever the people have had enough of it and they elect somebody who's going to help people with some social programs, or with at least the country being able to reap the benefits of the natural resources that they have to offer, kind of like they do in Alaska when they send everybody a check for the oil that's under the ground of all of them. Yeah, that kind of deal. That, of course, the United States clutches pearls and marches right in and overturns the government, the CIA. When I say the government, I usually mean the shadow government, ladies and gentlemen, clearly, because they're the ones in charge. And so they elect somebody, a leader who, promises this stuff, and then he's targeted and removed. So, I mean, it's really just a play that we've seen over and over again. And I really, really hope that people are catching on to it. I mean, it's the same playbook. I certainly hope that's becoming more apparent as time goes on, how this plays out. So that's really all. And then last night this morning actually, I listened to a presentation by Andrew Johnson from across the pond. And it was called, oh dear, here we go. Something energy for most of us, but not everyone. Oh my God, infinite energy for everyone, but or for some, but not all. I forget the damn name of it. This drives me nuts. Well, I'll figure it out later, and I'll drop the link under here. How's that? I'll put it in the comment section so you can take a look. But basically, it's about, the thing that is hidden the most, the thing that groups that are supposedly truth seekers, you know how I feel about that word truth. I think it's kind of crazy the way it's been used. But anyhow, got my Glooby back in hand. Now I feel like a woman again. I'm sure. The real goal of some of these counter groups and the media and the government and then these alternative theory groups and whatnot it's very basic. It's to suppress the energy that was involved, the energy that was directed into a weapon on 9/11. That's what the deal is. It's very basic, bare bones stuff. First time I heard it was through that Paul Hellyer. That's when he made total sense. That's another good one to look up, is Paul Hellyer, the former Defense Minister of Canada, who has spoken on the floor of many a parliament and whatever about the situation with the energy and how it's being suppressed from us, ladies and gentlemen. And, we're forced to be on the grid in this, enriching the corporate people and those involved with those who own the, like oil companies and gas companies and coal companies and all of that jazz. So, that's why I think now, in terms of switching to alternative energy, that's delightful. But really, there's even a better way, but it is being withheld from us. This is why Dr. Judy Wood is marginalized. This is why, evidently, you're literally, and I only use that word in a literal way, you are literally not permitted to bring up her name or anything if you become a member of this, like Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth Group or any of that. And oh, Lord. Remember I told you about that Stephen Jones character? How he got involved in this Architects and Engineers group, and he's like the, what do they call it, controlled opposition? Doesn't have anything good to say about Dr. Judy Wood's complete scientific research, ladies and gentlemen, and evidence. He's connected directly to kind of covering up the reality of what I think he dubbed cold fusion. Yeah. So check that out in your spare time. I know some of the stuff sounds outrageous and ridiculous and all that jazz, but if you just look at it from the basic bottom line of keeping us a slave, basically, to this, the regular old-fashioned energy methods, I guess you would say. And this all connects back into Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla! I don't know how to say his name. Nikola Tesla. I don't know. Somebody show me how in the comments below. Lounging with Lisa, the video series that has me lounging. We're coming at you. Thoughts of the day. Please join me, join others, drop your political identities. Let's focus on issues. Let's leave labels at the door. And please research before you judge. I am going live tomorrow at 2:30. Not sure if we're going to do this Hollywood Squares game then or not. It might just be a free-for-all, because I'm trying to figure out how the heck to pull this off, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, bye-bye.